day 9, and I'm ready to rack my mead over into a glass carboy. I'd like to start out by giving a couple of shout outs. First to a YouTube channel called City Steading. He inspired me to make this mead. He has a lot of good content as far as wine recipes and how to grow vegetables, how to use some of the brewing equipment. If you guys want to, head over there, check him out, leave him a comment, let him know Roosted sent you. Second shout outs to a good brother of mine, Justin. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have any of this brewing equipment. I love you, brother. Thanks for everything. Let me give you guys a quick rundown here of what you see, or maybe don't see, sitting on my kitchen table. I got a 6-gallon plastic brewer's bucket, a regular household kitchen strainer that fits nicely into the top of that bucket. I'm going to use those to strain the cherries from my mead. I have a 5-gallon glass carboy that I'm going to use to age my mead in. Top left-hand corner of this carboy, I got a black and white Gun Channels logo patch. On the right-hand side of that, there's an Every Second Matters card, because every second matters. I got a rubber bung and a brewer's airlock to cap off my carboy. I have a brewer's self-starting siphon to help transfer liquid from vessel to vessel. I have my hydrometer and the tube to float the hydrometer in so I can take a reading. And my Super Red Hawk 44 Magnum. Well, that's pretty much just eye candy. My airlock has stopped bubbling. I'll pop the lid off here, show you guys what it looks like on the inside. You can see most of the foam has died down. There isn't much for bubbles coming up. Looks like most of the cherries are floating on top. Time to rack this thing over. What I'm going to do here for my first go around is I have just a 5-gallon brewer's bucket. 6-gallon brewer's bucket, I guess this one is. Put the strainer on top. I'm going to pour all my liquid through this. Try and get all those cherries out of there. We're going to let all that sit and drain for a little bit, make sure we get all the liquid out of it back into our bucket. Then I'm going to put a lid back on this. I'm going to let it sit for another 24 hours. So I've officially changed my mind. I'm going to run this through a second strainer that's smaller, see if I can get just the last little bit of the cherry particles out of there. So I'll show you guys that quick. Maybe you can get a little better look at the color. Turned out kind of nice looking. It's definitely got that nice cherry red. It'll be interesting to see what this looks like as it clears. As you guys can see, I probably really didn't need to strain this again, but I decided I'd go for it. We'll get the little, much as the sediment out as we can, and now I'm going to let it sit for 24 hours, and we'll siphon this out tomorrow. Now that I got all the cherries out of my mead, I'm going to use my brewer's siphon to start the transfer process from my 6-gallon plastic bucket down into my glass carboy. I have the 6-gallon bucket sitting up on my kitchen table. The 5-gallon glass carboy is sitting on the floor. That way gravity can be my friend and help me move this stuff over. When you first start with this siphon, you basically put it down into your liquid, pump this handle up and down, and it'll draw the liquid from the bucket into the hose down into your glass carboy. There's a look at the glass carboy starting to fill. I'm not going to bore you guys with watching this because it's probably going to take 5 minutes to transfer that 2 gallons. While the siphon is running, I'm going to try and draw off enough of the mead to fill my hydrometer vial so I can take a reading. Maybe give it a taste afterwards. Well, that went a lot better than I thought it was going to. All my mead transferred over into my glass carboy. I'm going to lower the hydrometer down into the vial that's full of my mead. And we're just going to slowly watch it sink, give it a spin so it's not stuck. Make sure it's floating properly. And it is reading 0. So that means all my sugar is consumed. I don't think this is going to be a very sweet wine. Instead of pouring the mead from my test vial back into my main batch, I'm going to go ahead and pour it into a glass. And we're going to see what this tastes like. It has a beautiful dark deep red color. It smells really strong of alcohol. I was right. It's very dry. It's not bad. I like a little bit of a sweeter wine, so I may look into what they call back sweetening to maybe give it a little more honey flavor and sweetness. But it's not too bad. I'm going to insert my airlock into the top of the rubber bung. I'm going to take this rubber bung and push it down tight into the glass carboy's top. Get it nice and sealed up. We're going to put this back in a cool, dark place and leave it sit for at least 2 months. Really appreciate everybody stopping in. I had a good time doing this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to adopt your pets, support your local animal shelters. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time. Let me give you a quick rundown of what you see. Let me give you back the meat over into, as you can see here, conveniently. Damn, I can't believe I said that. Sure, now my batteries are. Strain the strawberries. Fucking strawberries. Really?